Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here we see Sati is accusing her father that it is not circumstantial that he has disrespected her and he has disrespected Lord Shiva. Circumstantially, even there are other Brahmanas. They have not welcomed me also, but they are not envious. Whereas you are envious of Lord Shiva. And actually, no one should be envious of Lord Shiva, because he is a universal being. He is not an ordinary personality. He is a universal being. And just like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who says, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu, I am equal to all. Similarly, Lord Shiva, being qualitative incarnation of the Lord, Guna Avatara, and also because he is a very exalted Vaishnava. Prabhupada explains, iron is not fire, but iron constantly kept in fire acts like fire. Similarly, at present moment, we do not have these good qualities. We are envious, we are inimical, we have lust, we have anger. But when the living entity is constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord through devotional service, he also acquires those qualities of the Supreme Lord. Because originally, we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We also have those qualities. Maybe the quantity is less. We are anu, we are small. But otherwise, once the living entity is purified, he also gains those divine qualities. Just like it is said, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvai gunehi tatra samasate suraha harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna मनोरथेन धावतो वही यस्यास्ति भक्तिर भगवती अकिंचना. Anyone who is performing pure devotional service to the Lord, automatically he becomes purified and he is decorated with all divine qualities. And one of those divine qualities is that one is not envious of anyone and one is equal to all. So Lord Shiva, being qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Lord and as well as an exalted Vaishnava, he is having these qualities. Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. He is equal to all. So, in our conditioned life, these are very important disqualification which binds us in this material world. We come to the material world because of envy to the Lord. Sometimes we may find a person, he is carrying out his different duties, he is doing everything, he may be charitable, but still, because we are conditioned, the reason is we are envious of the Supreme Lord. One may wonder, how is it? Because externally he may think, I am not envious of the Supreme Lord. So first of all, we have to understand what is the meaning of envy. So Prabhupada explains, envy means somebody's rightful position, you want to deprive him and you want to occupy that position. That is called envy. So Prabhupada gives an example that even in this material world, there are many examples like this, wherein servant wants to become a master. Prabhupada gives the example that there was a devotee in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, his name was Subudhiraya. He had a servant whose name was, later on of course he became Nawab of Bengal, Hussain Shah. So in his childhood, he was a servant serving Subudhiraya. Later on, somehow or other, he occupied a position of being a Nawab, and he became a Nawab of whole of West Bengal. So he was in a very good position at that time. So once his wife saw that there are some marks on his back, and she asked him, "What are these marks on your back?" So he said, "I was a servant of Subudhiraya, and when sometimes to correct me from my ignorance, when I would do some mistake, in order to bring me to the right path, sometimes he would beat me. And these are the marks that sometime when he had beaten me, those marks are still there on my back." So the wife became very upset. She said, "How it is possible that Subudhiraya could do this to you? So I want that you should immediately cut off his head." So this Nawab Hussain Shah, even though he was inimical, but because he had some good understanding about Subudhiraya, that actually whatever he did, it was for my good. It was not out of being envious of me. But in order to satisfy his wife, he called Subudhiraya and sprinkled some water on him and said that now you have become a Muslim. Because that time the Vedic society was very strict. Practically, this is how they would convert people from Hinduism and make them Muslims. They'll sprinkle some water on him, and then Brahminical community would discard them, that he is already impure, so he cannot be Hindus anymore. And this is how they would make those people Muslims. So Prabhupada explains this, that how Subuddhi Raya, this servant, from the very beginning, he was planning how to become a master. So Prabhupada gives this example that how this is very normal in the material world. Servant trying to become master. In this material world, we find the servant is actually not serving the master. He is serving his senses because he is getting money from that master. And with that money, he satisfies his senses. So actually, he is not serving the master. If he gets another better master, he will serve that other master because he is getting more money there. So in that sense, everybody is actually serving his own sense enjoyment. Similarly, there is no master in this material world. There is no real master. First of all, the master is trying to exploit his servant, and the servant is always thinking of occupying the post of the master. This is material world. Servant wants to exploit master wants to exploit servant, and servant wants to occupy the post of master. So, we have come in this material world because of this disease. This lording over tendency, which actually belongs to the Supreme Lord, is out of enviousness towards the Supreme Lord. When we want to lord over. That is why the pure devotee of the Lord, he never considers himself master, even though he is called spiritual master. But in his consciousness, he does not think himself to be the master. He thinks himself to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, like that. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught. Gopir Bhartur Pad Kamalyor Dasa Dasa Anudasaha. One has to try to become the servant of the servant of the servant multiplied times. That is our real position. So, this is a disease in spiritual life which keeps us away from Krishna. Whenever we have a tendency to lord it over, actually it is directly enviousness towards the Supreme Lord. So, one may be thinking, no, I am Krishna conscious. But if we have lording tendency, it is nothing but trying to compete with the Supreme Lord. So when devotees or when the spiritual master, when he is taking care of the disciples, it is not with the understanding that I am their master, it is with the understanding I am their servant. Whenever anybody would come and pay obeisances to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would always reply by saying, Dasosmi, actually I am your servant. So, he takes the position of a master by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, because the Supreme Lord wants him. Krishna himself says in Bhagavatam that Acharya Mam Vijaniya, such a great personality, the Acharya, he should be considered as myself. And he says one should not be envious of him, because as a master, he will have to do certain things. It may be required that he has to control his disciple, he has to tell him, do this, do not do this. So one should not become envious of such a great personality. So this is the understanding. So in devotional service, it is very important to understand that we don't become envious of others. Very simple actually. When in devotional service we find somebody has some great qualities, we should not become envious of him. We should be able to appreciate. It is the arrangement of the Lord. And it is not necessarily that he has got good facility because he may be very advanced. May not. Sometimes, even in devotional service, we may find because of certain reason, the type of service one may be carrying out, somebody may have more material facility. So how a devotee looks at it, other devotees, how he should look at it. If we start arguing why he has got, that means actually it shows we are envious. Why he has got, why I do not have. It's a symptom of envy. How a devotee takes it is that actually everything is sanctioned finally by the Supreme Personality of God. In devotional service, it is sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. Outside, in the material world, it is sanctioned by their karma. So, if Krishna has sanctioned some material facility for someone, even in devotional service, so devotees should not become envious of that. See? Let us say, for example, because of whatever reason, the devotee may not be very advanced and he is given material facility. Krishna will take care. Such a person, if he is irresponsible and if he is given material facilities, very soon we will find that he will practically leave devotional service and go away. So that is work of the Supreme Lord. How he wants to keep a devotee in devotional service, how he punishes him and brings him back, it's not our duty to do that. But generally, in devotional service, as a devotee matures, then more material facilities may be given. It's like for Srila Prabhupada, Krishna gave whatever was required. Krishna is waiting. When you become more mature, he is ready to give you the whole world, Prabhupada says. Krishna wants to expand his mission. Isn't it? But because we have got so many different kinds of anarthas, Krishna is holding back. Otherwise, what is there for him? He can fatafat give. He can spread the holy name like anything. We have to become purified. The more we will become purified, the more we will become non-envious. So this is what we should understand. That here, even though those other Brahmanas are present, they are not harboring envy towards Lord Shiva. Circumstantially, because they have become dependent on Daksha, for whatever reason, they are not able to welcome Sati. But otherwise they have no envy in their heart like that. They want, but they do not have that envious nature. Whereas Daksha, by nature, he is envious. And an envious person cannot advance in spiritual life. It is a demoniac quality, and Krishna says, such a envious person, he casts them into lower species of life. Practically, where he cannot even come back to a saner species of life. He will rot in Asuric species. So this enviousness is like this, we should understand. Generally, if we see, we become more envious of someone whom we have some kind of enmity. If we have some issue with some devotee, we do not like that devotee for whatever reason. When that devotee is given some facility, we become more envious. Others are given, I don't mind. No problem. Why he is given? See how we are self-centered in that way. If facility is given to others also and you become envious, okay, we can understand it is a general enviousness. But sometimes it can be enviousness like this. Somebody whom you do not like for whatever reason, he is given more facility, we become very antagonistic, very envious. He has been given like this. So we should understand that all these things will keep us more and more in this material world. First of all, as a devotees, we should not be comparing at all. This comparison is what brings about enviousness. We should be satisfied understanding every devotee is given whatever he is having by the Supreme Lord. Some authority may be just an instrument to give him whatever is any devotee is having, whether position, facility, anything. Finally, it is sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. And if it is sanctioned, let us say somehow the Supreme Lord has sanctioned and the authority made a mistake to give him material facility, the Lord will correct. There are ways to correct. We should not worry about all these things. It is not our business. This is what we should understand, isn't it? So, these are some of the important things which we can understand. And that is why this whole Bhagavata Dharma is meant for non-envious. Krishna also is telling same thing in Bhagavad Gita, Anusuyave. Arjuna, I am describing this knowledge to you because you are not envious of me. See? And Bhagavatam very clearly says, Nirmatsaranam Satam. Bhagavatam can be understood by Paramahamsa who are not envious of anyone. You see? So, we should not be envious of any living entity, what to speak of Vaishnavas. What to speak of Vaishnavas? We should not be envious of anyone. And where is the question of becoming envious towards any other devotee? Whatever he may be. Somehow or other we should understand devotees are very rare. Is there a doubt about it? We should always be able to see the wonderful qualities that they are chanting, they have surrendered. They may be having so many faults like I am having. We should always understand. Everybody has a fault. I am also having fault. They may be also having faults. Isn't it? So I should be able to see the good qualities in them rather than becoming envious either because of their advancement or material facilities or positions given to them. So it is out of ahankara one becomes envious, false ego. So when we understand, I am not this material body, I am servant of Krishna, then that ego in that sense, false ego goes away and we acquire our real ego that I am a tiny, very, very tiny part of Krishna. I am very insignificant devotee. The more one understands this, the more one can advance. And that is how we find Prabhupada explains about Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Every chapter end he says, I am lower than worm in the stew. See, I am lower than worm in the stew. So, this is a advancement in Krishna consciousness, we should be very careful whether we are developing divine qualities or actually we are developing these kind of demoniac tendencies. Stop with this. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki